Welcome, my friends, to the Red All Over Away End Show with me, Andy Simcox. This show is a companion to Red All Over's main preview show and affords me the opportunity and gives me the greatest pleasure to talk to friends old and new about their club. We look at their team's strengths, weaknesses, style, formation, how the season's going so far, what players we should look out for, and much, much more. But before all that, let me take you back all the way to 1958. Yes, folks, 1958, when a 4-year-old boy went to his first game at Oakwell, sat on his dad's shoulders on the Kop to watch his beloved Barnsley. Fast forward to the present day, and the Kop is now an all-seater stand named the Barry Murphy stand after our longest serving player. It is also designated as the away stand. So in a strange twist of fate, that 4-year-old boy has come full circle and is now finally back on the away end. Strap yourselves in. Roll the titles. This is the Red All Over Away End Show with me, Andy Simcox, and a very special guest, Danny Baker, a Wimbledon podcaster in preparation for the game this Saturday against Wimbledon. A warm Red All Over welcome to you, Danny. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, bless you. Very well. A special guest. We'll see how special I am by the end of this pod. But thank you very much for having me, and good luck on Saturday.
Well, if you're a rubbish guest, Danny, I'll edit the special out. I'll just say, and I'll just say, here's a guest. Right. I know what your podcast's called, but can you tell both of our viewers what the podcast's going to be called and where they can find it? So
we are the Wombles Had a Dream, and we're, in essence, it's me and my sort of co-colleague, if you like, Lee. The idea was it started in sort of COVID, and Wombles Had a Dream is basically the major charm that you're going to hear on Saturday. It's about Wombles Had a Dream to watch our football team back at Plough Lane where we belong, and obviously we've had a huge journey. It's 23 years last week that Wimbledon stopped and AFC started, and it's all just basically nothing. No stone unturned, no edit. It's a straight, hour or so of just us either talking about the club, talking about the fans, talking about the players, and nothing's off limit. And I'd like to think it's a good listen. We're obviously on the TalkSport Fan Network, and we've probably got about 1,000 or so. Obviously, supporting Wimbledon's quite a niche market, if you like. Yeah. But it's great. You can watch it. You can listen to it on sort of Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts. And if anybody's bored and wants to have a listen to a little bit of an insight, particularly in the last couple of games, I think it may well worth be a listen.
We'll be doing a preview for the show for the game on Saturday.
We're going to preview, bizarrely, straight after I finish with you. I'm going to be previewing Barnsley straight after. So we don't normally invite any of the away team. No. We'll just talk about, we've got Barnsley and Reading coming up, so that will be the big one we talk about.
Funnily enough, Red All Over's also doing a preview after this. I'm not going to be on it because I'm going to be too busy mucking about putting this. So this will go out sometime, probably tomorrow lunchtime.
Oh, lovely.
So hopefully both preview shows will go out before. And I just want. Perfect. I'll just make a note now that people can log, on our preview show, that people can log onto yours for a preview. Because it's always nice to see what others are saying. So you start to the season, Danny. 1-2, drawn 1, lost 2. It's a steady start.
We are
on penalties. You won on penalties. The draw.
We are delighted with how we've started. Obviously, last year coming up in the playoffs was almost like the back door. We kind of felt that we had a really strong defence, but we struggled scoring goals. But 4 1-0 wins in a row, and now we're back into League One, and we've lost 2 games, both 1-0, both deflected last-minute goals.
Yeah, seen that.
Last night was it was a weird one. We lost to Cardiff last night, who were very good. and they worked hard and they moved the ball well. But my God, our boys battled. And, I went to Reading on Saturday, which was a brilliant result. Played really, really well. Went to Lincoln at home. It's as good a set of performances as we could expect for us. I still think we're going to be right in the mix of dropping out of the league, but this is a brilliant opportunity to really get stuck in, and so far, lots of room for optimism.
Well, I was watching our game at Peterborough last night on Sky Sports Plus, and kept flicking over to yours, and I have to say, you let us down. With a few minutes to go, we were top of the league, and then you concede to Cardiff, so they go above us, and then Stevenage. This, my mate Matt Farley, who does their podcast, they scored two late goals to go above us as well. They were losing and scored two, I think, 89 minutes and well into added time for them to have an unblemished record and go top of the league. So we dropped to third.
And how are you finding your season? How are you? I mean, you guys are third, played 4-1-3, I think it is. Happy with your start?
Yeah. I think we've done all right. We had a big changeover. I mean, I want to talk about yours, but we'll talk about ours a bit. We had a big changeover in the summer. We moved on about, bearing in mind there are about three, maybe even three, I think, were loan players. We've moved on sort of 21 players from last season.
Wow.
So far, I know it's not, I'm very, very loath to say this, but so far we've not lost any of our, where I would say, big players.
Big guns.
There's a while.
And to give me some context, what's the expectation from Barnsley this year? What do you think is what's your season? What do you want to expect?
Well, we finished 12th last year, so I think a lot of people, me included, were thinking that maybe we'd finish 10th and maybe go up as far as 8th. But I think with the recruitment that we've had, because it's been a gradual thing, so nobody's got excited over the summer, but gradually we've got more and more players in key positions and are playing in a different way, a different style. So instead of playing with wing backs, we're playing with full backs and at least one winger, sometimes two wingers.
Oh, nice.
So it's much more on the front foot. It's much more attacking. It's pretty decent into play, and the players can take the opposition on, can carry the ball and take them on. And up top we've got David McGoldrick, who's
brilliant.
And he's 37.
Great last year.
He's a class act. He's a class act. Davis Keeler-Dunn, who
he's good. Was at Mansfield, wasn't
he? Yeah. And my personal favourite, Adam Phillips, who's 100% every game, and he's on fire. And just behind them we've got Luke O'Connell. So we've got some pretty decent players. The defence, we've had a couple are injured, or a couple of centre halves out injured, but we've got more than two. So last night against Peterborough, we played two left-footed centre backs, which I don't think's great, but we did all right. A few misplaced passes, but we did all right. But my view is that we need a big, where I would say a big Brusson, a big awkward centre half that
old-fashioned type.
Because we got the centre half that we've got, Mark Roberts, is out for a couple of months, so we would need that, and a striker, because it's guaranteed that for me, Goldrick will get injured.
He's not going to play every game, is he?
He can't, and others, so we're a bit light in that respect. But other than that, we're doing okay. We're doing all right.
Brilliant.
With ups and downs, against. In the League Cup against Fleetwood, we're doing all right, and we're winning 2-1, and it's nice and easy. And then they scored an injury time equaliser. We got through on penalties. We were beating Bolton last weekend. They scored a goal 3 minutes from time when we were down to 10 men. We had 10 men against Plymouth in the opening match, but won 3-1. So that was pretty reasonable. And the most incredible turnaround were at the first home match against Burton. We were weak and poor in the first half, and it's not what we were expecting, but we were. And we're 2-0 down to Burton at home at half time. Came back in the second half, scored 2 goals, thank goodness for that. Injury time, and McGoldrick scored the winner. So it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? People scoring last-minute goals, injury time goals against us, but us scoring them for us as well. So
It's a brilliant league, League One,
it's
by the way.
close, isn't it? It's a thin, it's a very
My
thin
dad's here,
line.
bless him, and we watch the Premiership, but not really. But League One and the Championship are our leagues.
Yeah,
You've got the really good combination of the sort of like the treachery of not having a clue who's going to win, but you actually can watch some half decent football. Yeah,
yeah.
it's been a great addition to our club, and it's a really interesting point in our sort of journey. So yeah, we're gonna suck it up and see how we get on.
What I didn't realise is that it was 23 years ago. It's a long time.
It is a long time. And one of the last home games I remember going to was Wimbledon
Mm,
Barnsley, bizarrely.
wow.
Remember watching with, do you remember Gordon Watson, the
Oh
goalie?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Him. He was doing some sort of weird warm up and Barnard and that lot
yeah.
at Selhurst. I think it was the year you in the Premier League or you got relegated. I can't remember exactly which one it was. Um, but yeah, I've not actually watched Wimbledon much. You had Cosgrove, who was at ours for a bit. I think he played at Barnsley for a while. Tall,
That's yeah, for a
tall,
couple of
tall
seasons.
centre forward blonde lad.
He's gone.
But apart from that, we've not had lots of crossover by the looks of it.
He's
So
gone to Australia. Sam Cosgrove
has
gone to
he?
Australia. Yeah.
Oh crikey! He was linked with us. Thank God he's not back. He was terrible for us. Bless him.
He had, I would say, one good game for us, and that was the
Oh
second
right, okay.
second leg playoff 2 years ago against
All
Bolton
right. That's
when he
probably
was the
half a game more better than what we had for
yeah
us. I think.
yeah yeah rest of it a big target man that wasn't.
Right. What do you want to know about Wimbledon?
Right,
Tell me we've been
the ins and outs.
digressing, haven't we? You
Yeah,
tell me what
who's
you want to
left?
know.
Who's left and who's
So
coming this summer?
it's been a really interesting summer as the primary objective was to maintain the core of last year. And our bedrock was our defence, and we've kept all of the defence. We lost the goalie to Huddersfield on loan, which was tricky because I think he probably was lined up for everywhere. And he started slow, but my God, he really hit his straps, and he's going to be a good goalkeeper. I don't know if he's going to be a Premier League keeper or maybe even a Championship, but he'll be very good at Huddersfield, and I think that's a good signing for him. But we play wing backs. So we've lost Nerfil, who was our player of the year, to Bradford, which we were very surprised about. We thought he might have gone to you or probably a bigger League One team. So we've had to swap out our wing backs. The other one, Tilly, went to Wickham. But the summer's priority was maintaining the core, which we've done. We've kept Ryan Johnson, who's our vice captain at centre back, who's tidy, left-footed centre back. We've kept hold of Marcus Brown, who is the kind of player that could turn a game on its head. I don't know if you've ever had I'm sure you've had a player who does everything brilliantly until the very last thing he does, and he either sprays it, he knocks it into rosette, or he falls over his shoelaces. That's Marcus Brown, but he has got the ability to really turn a game. And we signed Ali Smith, who was on loan to us from Lincoln, and we've signed him permanently. So that was a really strong first half of the recruitment, if you like. We desperately need goals. Desperately. We had Matty Stevens, who scored 21, I
Yeah.
think it is last year, but didn't really score much after January. So it's just a question of our whole season is on whether we're going to be able to score enough goals, because defensively we are very strong. That's definitely our superpower. But we signed Danilo Orsi, which is a little bit of a surprise signing because he had one good season at Crawley, but not really done it. Played yesterday, was a bit of a passenger. We've got a couple of dark horses. We've got Hackford, who came from Port Vale, who is absolutely rapid. He's the quickest player I think I've seen live. He was that quick yesterday.
He's a striker,
but again,
Dan?
he's a sort of striker, wants to play as a 10, but we really need him to play on your last man, if that makes sense. So we've obviously got him. The best player we've had this year has definitely been Nathan Asimwe, who's our right wing back. Loves to go in, loves to go out, tricky, very good one-to-one defensively. And you'll see a lot of the game will go through him. And today we've just signed a centre-back, Patrick Bauer, who was at Coventry, played for Preston, who is probably going to be a backup because Joe Lewis at centre-back, I think already is going to be one of the better players in League One. He was the best League Two centre-back for me. And over the first 3 or 4 games, he's been absolutely electric. But he went off yesterday with an injury, so him not playing is a huge loss. So it's been an interesting window. We're still not quite done. I think we need a little bit of backup in the wing-back positions, and I think we'll lose a striker to get one in. But I'm pretty happy as a squad with our bundle, and it will just be a question of can we keep the right players fit, and have we got the ability? Because as you'll see on Saturday, we'll defend doggedly, we'll work hard, we'll run, but we're not going to really create lots. And our main game plan will be to keep it tight for the first half. It'll probably be 0-0. Second half, we'll get to an hour, and then we'll start having a look, and we'll wait for you to probably get tired. We're not, and we just soak up pressure. That's all we do is we soak it. We'll defend with our lives. We'll dive in front of it. We'll work ourselves silly. The fans won't stop shouting, but we're going to really find it difficult to. We kind of get rushed in the middle of the park a lot. We've got Jake Reeves, who is our captain. He's a great player, but on the ball he's great. Off the ball he's going to really struggle. So I'm interested to see how McGoldrick, whether he's the kind of forward that stays up. I feel like if he was similar to Notts County, he used to kind of pop up everywhere, drops in the hole, drops back, comes deep and picks it up and plays. He's not going to run in behind, but he kind of mixes his attack. So it's going to be a really interesting one to see whether Reeves picks him up or how McGoldrick goes, because he played okay against us last year, but he wasn't brilliant. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with our summer. And we haven't really lost anyone of note in terms of people that we either didn't think we were going to lose or we really wanted to keep. The only one would be Nerthal. So at the moment, mate, I'm pretty happy with a lot, I think.
Your manager's Johnny Jackson. I know very little about him.
So Johnny Jackson came 3 years ago. Right. Probably one of, if not the first manager we've had who wasn't AFC Wimbledon background. So we had Neil Ardley, we had Robbo, who was the academy manager. Going a bit further back, we would have like guys who've been there a while. And it's taken the fans a very long time to warm to Johnny Jackson, particularly after the first season, which was our first year back in League Two. I think the whole fan base said, I think we finished 20th out of 24. The whole fan base were like, let's sack him. We're done. Let's get somebody new. And the club, in its credit, kept him. We then finished 10th. We then introduced the director of football in Craig Cope, who has done wonders for our recruitment and wonders for our team. And now, I think the one thing with the Wimbledon team and a Wimbledon manager is that we are going to stick with. We can't sack you. You've got no money to pay you off. So we're kind of going to stick with you regardless. And I think that's paying off. And he's probably now in the top 10 longest serving managers, I think.
Excellent.
So he's done a very, very good job, but he still hasn't captivated the whole audience, even though we got promoted, which is quite interesting. I think that's mainly down to the style of play. We are quite rigid and tough and defensive minded, and
right. We're going to ask you about
home.
Next.
I mean, particularly at home. Yeah, particularly at home, you want to see us on the offensive, and right, we're going to come at you, and we won't. We're going to sit there, and you've really got to work hard to break us down. But we'll get a chance, and we're going to stick it in the goal if we can.
With you saying wing backs, I'm assuming you're playing three at the back with wing backs and a couple of strikers, one striker.
Yeah, we kind of change it up a bit. So we've kind of gone 3 centre backs, 2 wing backs, and then we either play 2 holders and 3 who go. So like a 9 and sort of 2 winger types, or we go like we did yesterday, which is 3 in the middle, which will be Hippolyte, who is a real engine. He's all over the place, very aggressive, very on the front foot. And then we have the 2 forwards, and we have Matty Stevens, who will run all day. But he's the kind of striker that you've got to cross the. He's not going to score from outside the box. He's not going to take on 4 players and score. He's the sort of fox in the box merchant. But if you do give him a chance, he is going to score. And if you give away a penalty, he's going to score it. And then we've had obviously people like Josh Kelly who are a bit quick. So yeah, we're a defensive-minded team. A little bit sort of Arsenal in the 80s. We'll win 1-0 and we'll keep it tight. Yeah. It's that kind of side. But the fans, it's actually one of the teams that we can, as a Wimbledon team, we really identify with. Wimbledon going back I've spent Wimbledon since '89, and we've always been about aggression and never say die, and you die for the shirt. We're not you can beat us with football, but you won't beat us with work ethic. And Wimbledon fans often want that kind of team, and we've now got it. So it's going to be a really interesting dynamic again. Like you said, you guys seem to like to get the ball down and play nice football and get into pockets. And it's going to be fascinating to see how you guys try and break us down.
Yeah. Yeah. If it had been last year, I could have told you exactly how we would break you down. We pass it. We pass it across the back. We used to have a back three and wing backs. We pass it across the back about 20 times. Put it to the wing backs. Give it back to the centre backs. Play it to the midfield. Who'll put it out to the wing. Who'll play it back to the midfield. Put it back to the other wing and put it back to the midfield. We're a little bit different now because we're on the. And you say I think it's going to be a fascinating game because we're usually once we've got into our stride. On the front foot, and we'll take players on, and we've got got a few players that will really drive forward with the ball and take players on. So it's going to be very interesting. But you will be able to catch us with quick balls out over the top because our centre backs that are currently on, are likely to be on the pitch on Saturday are not super quick. So if you've got quick striker or quick winger that can get in behind, ball over the top.
Yeah,
that could be fruitful.
Okay, that'd be interesting because that's probably across the team what we're lacking is a bit of pace,
Right.
and particularly at the back, which will be we're not a quick team. We're very brave. We've got a quick wing back. We don't. I think that's probably speed is probably one of the things that this team's not going to be blessed with. But it'll be interesting to see how we kind of counteract. And it's also interesting because a lot of your guys, a lot of our players would have probably played against on the way up or on the way down. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of shapes up, I think, on Saturday.
You looking forward to it, Danny?
I am. And to be honest with you, I'm trying to do the 90, we call it the 91, as you can imagine, going to the team up in Bletchingley. I went on the very first time we played them, but we don't normally refer it to as part of the 92 league clubs. So I haven't been to Barnsley. I was desperately wanting to go, and I've never been. So I'm going to be coming to the away game to try. I'm up to about 70-ish. So I'm not quite
really
well.
Good.
I'm very fortunate. Obviously, Wimbledon we've done all 4 leagues, so it's quite handy having done the Premier League stuff when we were back in the Premier League. When we dropped to the Championship, there was a few. Obviously, League Two, I've done a few. So it's kind of unfortunately, I've now kind of done everything relatively local. It's either bottom of the country or top, but it's been a really tough start. I mean, we've had Luton, you guys, Cardiff, Reading, who they weren't particularly good. I know obviously they've had ownership problems, but they had a brilliant end to the year. So it will be good to get you guys out of the way, I think. And once we've got you guys out of the way, it will be nice to then maybe get stuck into. Because our season, Andy, is basically going to be how do we perform against the bottom 12? That's kind of our season. Can we be fifth? Can we be in the top half of the bottom half? If that makes sense. You guys, it's not gonna define our season whether we lose to you guys on Saturday, but it will matter if we lose to Burton, if that makes sense, or Northampton, or as it looks now, people like Plymouth, and that's kind of our season. So I wouldn't say Saturday's a free hit, far from it, and it's not that way inclined. But I would imagine fan expectation will be really hard to break down. And can we find a way to nick a goal? That will be our game.
That's good. So, what would you say? I know you've said a little bit about it. What would you say are your particular strengths? Is it the defence, the blocking everything, the keeping it tight?
It's real. Our strengths is keeping the game very, very tight. Particularly anything in the air, we'll win it. We're very good on second balls. We will harass all the way through. We'll make the home fans will make it noisy and it will be loud. And providing if you guys you're hopefully going to bring some numbers. And if you're noisy, we will match you and we will bring it to the party. So I'm not expecting you guys to have a cakewalk. And I think playing Wimbledon this year, I don't think we'll win loads of games, but I think a lot of teams, just like Cardiff, a lot of the social media yesterday, Reading, Luton, a lot of teams will go, you guys work your socks off. But is that enough? Is that going to be enough for us to stay above the bottom 4? if the form that we've shown in the first 4-5 games of the cup games, if we've got that kind of form, I think we've got every chance to be close to staying up.
Yeah.
Should we stay up, where our budget is middle of League Two, so we're way down the budget list. And we signed a player today who, again, hopefully will add some value to it. But yeah, I think defensively will be the thing, and I think that will be the thing that you'll see early. You'll go, bloody hell, they're not looking to come out. We're going to sit tight. You can come as much as you like. It's a little bit like the walls of Jericho will be. We'll make it nice and big, and then we might send a few little arrows over, and we'll try and chase it and see what we do.
What would you say the weaknesses? I promise you I'm not going to mention it to anybody. So just me and you, Danny. Just me and you.
Our biggest challenge is we struggle to score goals. And the reason why we do is we kind of bunker in. And then what happens is we chase you for 70 minutes. And by the time we've done that, we're absolutely knackered. And then the game gets stretched and we find it quite difficult. I think the other thing, we get really hurried in the middle. We kind of try to play these sort of one-touch passes and stuff. And it's lovely, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And we get caught out and then we lose possession. And then all of a sudden, whenever we seem to attack, we get countered big style. And because we play wing-backs and they get forward, all it takes is a ball behind those wing-backs and we're all of a sudden it's sort of 3-on-3 or 4-on-3. And I think that will be, if you guys have done your homework, you'll keep the possession a lot. You'll run us about, and in the last 20 minutes, that will be where you'll really turn the screw. And I think that will be, I think, where we struggle, and finding how we're going to impact. Because I always think, but when you're defending, it's about occupying your defenders. How are we going to occupy your two big defenders? Because we're going to hit it long. Stevens is not quick. He's strong, but you've got two big guys. How are we going to give you something to think about? That's going to be the question that Johnny Jackson asks his coaching staff this week.
That's interesting. It's going to be, like I said earlier, it's going to be a fascinating game with what I would suggest are two entirely different styles.
Yeah,
that's
big
what
time.
football's about, isn't it? It's what it's all about. And I've got loads of positive feelings about Wimbledon. You know, the 23 years ago, the change, absolutely incredible. And as I told you before we started, Mark Lewis from your matchday programme organiser, for want of a better word.
He's a brilliant guy. Yeah, really good lad.
I've spoke to him. You know, we've emailed a number of times, and he asked me. I told you before. He asked me to write an article for the for your matchday for the matchday programme this weekend. So I think he thinks it's all right. It's a bit of history and a bit of stuff about us, and a bit tongue in cheek as well. There's a little bits of humour, I hope, in it. I try not to be too much, but you know.
I mean, if you've got any fans coming, are you happy for me to just give a few tips or advice about getting to the ground?
I'd love you to. Yeah, that'd be lovely.
Okay, so Wimbledon firstly, you will be very welcome. It's a very welcoming ground. There's no aggro or trouble. The challenge with Wimbledon is it is a decent journey. So if anyone is coming in, Tooting Broadway is the nearest tube station. You can get a bus from Tooting Broadway that will take you down pretty much to the ground. Parking is very, very challenging. And my best suggestion is, if you're going to get the train to Hayden's Road, which is overground, or if you're thinking of driving somewhere nearby, you've got Collier's Wood, and you've got just about, I don't know, maybe a mile from the ground. There's plenty of parking, but there's an app called Just Park, which you can almost park on people's drives, and you can pay a small amount, and you can normally do that. But parking nearby is really tricky. But outside the ground, there's a Greg's, there is like a Lidl and stuff, and the food in the ground is normally pretty good. So you should be very, very welcome. You'll also see, as you go in, a lot of history of the club and what it's meant to the community. But it is a bit, because obviously you guys have not, I don't think you've played there yet, have you? You haven't played at Plough Lane. You've obviously
not that I can remember.
No, obviously be way back. So it's on the site of Wimbledon Greyhound Stadium, which is about 500 yards maximum from the old ground.
Yeah. And
obviously the Greyhound Stadium is put down, and the ground is paid for by the fans, and obviously the club is owned by the fans.
Lovely.
So it's the club is in a really interesting space where, frankly, we fund the club. But we're at the point now as a club where do we seek investment to make us go that next step? And we don't believe in glass ceilings at Wimbledon. We've broken them all already as far as we're concerned. But it's a question now of we're looking at the opportunity to do 50+1, which is sort of similar to Borussia Dortmund, where we own half the club plus 1%, and that'll invite us to open up the rest of the club for investment, because we're currently probably the best part of £12 million in debt. And that obviously has a massive impact on the stadium offer and the money that we obviously put in. But it is, I really hope that if anyone's not sure about coming or has got any kind of concerns, please come. We're a big family club. It will be a brilliant opportunity to come and see the ground. Obviously, we've got aspirations to build it up, but we are a fan-owned club, and we would love to welcome anybody, regardless of your background. We'd love to see you at Plough Lane.
You'll have cheered a lot of people up simply by saying there's a Greggs. That on its own helps. Is there anywhere else that they can get food or drink? Because, don't get silly, but, our supporters do like to call and have a drink.
There's definitely plenty of pubs around, and obviously in Tooting Broadway, there's lovely. I will warn you, it's London prices, and I know I'm not saying there's a north-south divide, but I think you might lose some hair if you go into one of the pubs in Tooting and ask for a pint and you're not aware of how much London is. London is punchy. But there's lots of, like I said, in Tooting Broadway, you've got everything you want, all your normal kind of high street and more. And as you get down to the ground, there is lots of places to eat and drink. Just make sure you give yourself a bit of time, because from Tooting Broadway down, if you're walking, it's a good 20-minute walk. Buses are very, very frequent. And it should be another sellout, which for us is about 9,000. So that should be a really, for us, it'll be a really positive ground, and you'll see a very, I wouldn't say partisan, but a very together fan base. If we're playing well, we're working hard, it should be. I mean, yesterday we didn't stop shouting for 90 minutes. It was non-stop all the way through, constantly talking, chanting about our history and what our values are and what we're about. And yeah, there'll be a little bit of poking at you guys, I'm sure, but it should be a brilliant game.
Well, we'll be dirty Northerners, won't we? That'd be one thing.
You will be a little bit, unfortunately, for 90 minutes.
What I'm not sure about is that we often do, but I don't think we'll do it in your case. We often talk about softy Southerners or Southern softies, but I don't think that can be levelled at Wimbledon. Not from the Wimbledon I used to watch of old.
Definitely not.
I can't see us going. Footballers want to play in an atmosphere like you're describing, a friendly, banterous atmosphere where everybody's up and at 'em and enjoying the game. What more can you want from football? If you don't want to play in front of that, then 100%. What do you want to play in front of? So that's that really is something to look forward to. So I'm sure Barnsley fans will be chuffed to death, and I hope at least one of them gets me a programme.
Oh, they will. And if not, we'll make sure Mark sends you one. Don't worry.
So anyway, Danny, right, let's stop talking about Wimbledon for a minute. Well, we're not stopping talking about Wimbledon, but I want to talk about you for a bit.
Okay.
It's about Wimbledon, so it's not. Well, it is personal, but it's not super personal. Don't panic.
Go on.
I can see you looking a bit nervous. Right, right. I told you before, we've got two young lads, two 11-year-old twins called George and Isaac, who for the last number of years have styled themselves like Little Ant and Dec, but they call themselves Little Al and Andy, outside of me and my dearly departed friend Alan Smith, who was one of the founders of Red All Over. So we've kept them, at Alan's request, So Little Al and Andy have put together a series of questions, and I'm going to get them to come on and ask you 3 questions.
Perfect.
It might be 4. If you get fed up after 2, just say, because I'll get fed up after 1, because they've asked me these questions as well, so I'll get fed up after 1. So whenever you're fed up, just say, oh, that's me done, I've had enough of them. You might not even be able to understand what they're talking about. Barnsley.
I'm a big fan of Ant and Dec, so I'm sure I'll be a fan of these boys as well. And thank you very much for coming on.
So I'm gonna put Little Al and Andy on for the first question, Danny. So here they are.
Why don't you support a good team? Yeah, like Liverpool or Manchester City. Or best of all, Barnsley.
Well, thanks for the question. And I think it's a combination of factors that when I was younger, my dad told me, look, you can pick your mates and you can pick your girlfriends, but we support Wimbledon and we're going. And that's pretty much been us. It's also been, Wimbledon's my local team. I grew up with watching them. And also I was always intrigued with being always the underdog. I found that a really exciting thing to these big super giants coming. I always like being the little Wimbledon who, if we lose, it's all right because we're not expected to. But when we win, it's the euphoria. So that's the reason why I'm a Dons fan. And I don't think that's going to change. But a good question.
I'm going to get a couple more because that's a good answer. So I'm going to put them on for the second question. So here they are.
What does your club mean to you?
Do you know what? Wimbledon means so much to me in so many different ways. And one of the big things for me is I go to watch football and I love Wimbledon, but it's an opportunity what me and my dad have been doing since I was a kid. And it's great that me and my dad go, I don't care anything else. We used to go for a pie mash and now we go to other stuff. And to be able to just go with my dad and watch football means the world to me. And I absolutely love it. But also Wimbledon is an extension of my kind of personality. I've always identified with Wimbledon as a story. And I'm a new dad of a 3-year-old, and the values that AFC Wimbledon in particular about never giving up, don't accept negativity, you can achieve anything. It's a real Rocky Balboa type story, and I think it's allowed me to really at times think, we've all got times where life gets a little bit above you and the world can seem a bit bigger than what it is, but Wimbledon has shown that anything is possible, and I love that. I am actively supporting and influencing and talking about a group of people who are always looking to be positive. So I think that's the reason why Wimbledon is so important to me.
That's lovely. What the next one I'm going to put? Oh, the next one I'm going to
put. These boys.
They are. I call them the little scamps. So here they are for the third. They are for the third one, Danny.
Who's your tumble down, Ted? The one that's going down in the box like he's been shot by a sniper.
Marcus Brown, without doubt. If there is anyone near that penalty area, get in touch. It's Marcus Brown.
We'll watch for him.
He's very clever with it. So you've got to keep your eyes on him. I don't think we're a particularly divey type team. I think we're pretty honest and, as much as modern football. But yeah, if anyone's going down into the box, I'm putting my money on Marcus Brown.
Lovely.
And it'll be a roll. You'll get the full roll.
Oh, good.
And you'll get the whole shebang.
Will he be looking at the referee with his arms splayed wide
all
open
of it,
while he's rolling?
All of the stereotypes, all the things that the boys will be practicing in their playground, that's what they're going to see on Saturday if Marcus Brown's in the box.
Good lad. 2 more, Danny. Just 2 more. You're very nearly there. Very nearly there. So here they are for the 4th question.
What is the one game that you would like to relive again?
Relive one Wimbledon game. Well, there's been so many euphoric games. But I think if you ask me to go back to one moment, it would have to be FA Cup, 3rd round, might have been 4th round at home. And the exact moment we drew 1-1 away, late Robbie Earle header into the corner. And then Kenny Cunningham went down the wing. He's crossed it. And mid-air, Marcus Gale heading the ball past Peter Schmeichel to go up 1-0. I think that's the one moment if I could go back to. The other moment, I think, would be my first game at Plough Lane, the new Plough Lane, and the ball we played Oxford, we won 3-1. And as the ball got past, Jack Rodoni runs onto it. And do you know that moment where everyone knows you're going to score, but you're just waiting for him to kick it? That exact moment where Rodoni's running at it and everyone's like, he's going to score, he's going to put this in the corner. And he rolls it in and the whole crowd erupts. I think they're the 2 that I would love to go back to. We've obviously had other great games and events and playoff wins and stuff, but those are the 2 that really stick out.
What game would your dad say?
My dad, my dad.
I think I know what he'll say.
And I was too young to
be.
It's the only time I've been upset with my dad. He took my brother, but he didn't take me to the cup final. But I was a little bit young, but he loved the cup final, and he's watched a hell of a lot of football, so he might have a different one. But the cup final was definitely something that he'll hold dear, definitely.
I'm far from surprised. The underdog won through. What's your dad's name, Danny?
He's Terry.
Terry. So Terry didn't take, although you're young, he didn't take you to the cup final. when you beat the mighty Liverpool.
He took me the next year,
Storm.
just to not necessarily rub salt in the wounds, but I remember my first game was probably 89. So the year after, just kind of like, you weren't old enough for the cup final, but you can come next year. I was like, oh, right, okay, fine. But my brother loved it, but then never really he kind of went to probably mid-90s, and that was his lot. And he kind of watches the odd game here and there. But it's just kind of like, oh, mate, why didn't I get to watch the cup final? But do you know what? I quite like that. I quite like watching it through other people's eyes. I think, I think that's all right. I'll live with that.
Should I let your dad off then instead of saying Terry?
Only
you.
this. Yeah. Only this
Shame
time.
on you,
yeah.
Terry. I'll let him off then. Right. I'm going to put on for the final question. The very final question. So they've got about 5 or 6 others, but I can't put... It's not fair. It's not fair. So here's little Alan Andy for the final question.
Who is the best player that you have ever seen play for your club?
Best Wimbledon player. See, the challenge is it's all about categories for me. So my favourite player was Vinnie Jones because he epitomised everything to do with the Crazy Gang. Yeah. The fact that he had in my opinion, he wasn't a particularly brilliant footballer, but he really, really capitalised on it. We obviously had Robbie Earle, who was brilliant in the mid to late 90s. How he never played for England and obviously went to Jamaica, I don't know. We had a great defender called Chris Perry, but then obviously
Chris Perry, yeah,
he was great. The Rash we used to call him, but then obviously we got the new incarnation of AFC Wimbledon. So we've got Kevin Cooper, who scored 50 goals in a season. We've got Lyle Taylor. We've got Matt Everard, who was a free-flowing goal scorer. I still think currently Joe Lewis is going to be our best centre-back we've ever had as an AFC Wimbledon. But if you had to say to me right now, who is the best player, would be Michael Hughes I've ever seen.
Michael Hughes,
played for Wimbledon, played for West Ham, Birmingham and Crystal Palace. Just magic. Just every time he got it, the whole game just seemed so easy. He scored belters, he set goals up, he worked hard. He was 1.6 million from West Ham. He was an absolute snip. But my favourite will always be Vinny. And my shirt's got number 4 Jones on the back, and I still got it. And I love him. Absolutely love Vinny Jones.
It'd actually be my...
And he played a bit of Yorkshire, a bit of Leeds, a bit of Sheffield United.
Sheffield United, yeah. I'll never forget him playing against, let's say, in an unconventional way against Paul Gascoigne.
I think that's very, very...
Always made me chuckle.
I think unconventional is probably the nicest he's ever been told.
I know. I also liked... I mean, there's so many in there. There's so many. I like Dennis Wise for his housery. He just never stopped with it.
No.
And
a good two-footed, quite a unique player. You know, we've had a lot of good footballers, but nowadays not much two-footed. He was two-footed, yeah.
Yeah, good. And Dave Besant, Dave Besant, I thought was an amazing goalkeeper. I still struggle to think, did he ever concede a penalty? Because every time I saw him, he seemed to save the flipping thing.
Yeah,
so.
He had a really good career. Obviously, went to Chelsea and obviously Newcastle and Chelsea. Went to the World Cup in 1990. Yeah. Decent. Obviously, I love Hans Seegers. Him and Neil Sullivan, the ones I kind of grew up with. But yeah, no, it's been. I feel like, I'm only sort of early 40s, but I feel like I've gone through a massive lifetime of change at Wimbledon. Yet it's still, it still excites me to go, and it's a new chapter, and it's going to be fascinating how we as a club move on in the next sort of 5 or 10 years. It's going to be a very, very interesting period of our future.
It was interesting that you brought up 1990 because I was in a big group on a big screen watching the World Cup semi-final against Germany, and at full time, screaming, I think, for Bobby Robson to take Shilton off and put Dave Besant on when it got to penalty.
Oh, really?
Just take him off and get him on. Just get him on, because we'd have gone through if 1-0. They'd have saved them all, but not to be.
Never mind.
Not to be. So on to Saturday. Oh, what's your prediction for the game? How do you think it's going to pan out?
I would like to think that we'll keep it, as I said, if 0-0 at half time, you guys keeping lots of ball without. And I think the other thing with Cardiff, teams don't normally have lots of chances. Our goalie didn't make a save, I don't think, apart from when the ball went in the back of the net. So for me, prediction is 0-0 at half time. McGoldrick will pop up, do lots of different bits and pieces, but it'll kind of be almost like trying to score through a door. And then the game will change about 65 minutes where we will decide whether we're going to sharp shot and go, okay, we'll just hit you on the break, or whether we're going to make some changes and have a little punt. And I would love us to have a little bit of a punt and see if we can win it. But I just feel like we are going to struggle fitness-wise. And I feel like if you guys keep a lot of the ball, it could be a bit deja vu. So I'm going to say a nervy 0-0. But I can't see us winning.
It's going to be more
so
an entertaining 0-0, Danny.
Well, you guys will have a lot of the ball, and you'll be coming at us. So don't worry, it won't be boring. You guys it'll be a tidal wave after tidal wave, and whether we'll hold out. But I think we'll manage to do so on Saturday.
That'll be well worth watching. Last season, if you'd have said to me towards the end or during last season, that you'd keep it tight, and then hopefully, a quarter of the game to go, say, you went for it and had a go at it, that would worry me, because our fitness levels were poor last season, really poor.
Oh, wow.
And I think in League One, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we'd have been in the top 6 if games had only last 75 minutes. We conceded more goals than anybody else after 75 minutes. So it would have worried me to hell last season. This season, Conor Hourihane, our legendary captain from 2016,
brilliant player.
He plays a different style, an attacking style, a pressing style. Like I say, we're back 4, and the fitness levels have increased immeasurably.
Is he the manager, Conor Hourihane?
Yeah.
Wow, God, what a player that is! Crikey.
He came as a player coach at the start of last season, but only played, I think, either 1 game or 2 games. Not very much. But it was only towards the end of the season, and he had to go with what he got, that he became interim manager, head coach, as we've called him, and then got the permanent job.
Wow, good player.
It's been a huge, huge change, because the styles played, the players that have gone are players that can't play or couldn't play, in his view, and probably my view and all, the style he wanted. So, because we didn't play with we played with wing backs last year and had 3 right wing backs. All 3 of them have gone, and now we've got full backs in right, full backs.
21 players going tells you all you need to know.
A big change, and it's been for the better. And I hope a couple more. I think we need, personally, a centre half, like I told you, and another striker.
Well, Andy, you've asked me about the game.
Anybody.
You've asked me about the game.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell me about your prediction for the game.
Well, I'm hoping that we are going to take you on. We did well yesterday as the game went on in the second half. We did well against Peterborough. They got, like you're saying that you do, they got a lot of blocks in and made that difficult. So they call it at Red All Over. They call it an Andy special, and it's not worked out this season for me. So my biggest worry is that I say something else, and then my Andy special, which is 2-1 to Barnsley, then happens.
Okay,
I don't know why they're worrying me, because if I went 3-0 to Barnsley or 1-0 to you and it's 2-1, I'll be thinking, damn it, I should have gone 2-1. But I should be happy with that, shouldn't I? So
definitely.
So no, I'm going to go 2-1. Sod it.
Go on,
I can't
mate.
change the habit of a lifetime. So
Absolutely.
I'm going 2-1 to Barnsley. And it's not based on anything scientific or
It's
anything
the hope
like
that kills you, isn't it?
Always the hope. Always the hope. It's just tried and tested, but it did last season, but it's not been tried and tested this season because it's not flipping happened yet for me. Well, I live, like you say, live in hope and hope it don't kill me this time.
There you go.
So 0-0, 2-1. It'd be nice to have a lovely game of football to watch. So, Danny, It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
And when I said you were a special guest, I'm not editing the special bit out because you are.
Oh, stop it, you flirt.
So, for people who watch this, don't forget the Wombles Had a Dream podcast. Did you say it's on YouTube as well?
It's on Spotify and anywhere else you get your podcasts. I've got a face for radio, so we keep off YouTube and stuff like that.
Do you know, We used to be a radio show in 20, I think about 2016, I think we started, a local radio station for an hour. And that radio station got taken over by not Greatest Hits Radio. So it was no more. So we do a bit on Spotify, but it's mainly on YouTube. And I said right at the start, I don't know why we're going to YouTube because I've got a face for radio. And no, apart from one person, nobody has argued the toss with me. Nobody has said, "Oh no, no, no," except Jake Tong from Lincoln City. He said, "No, no, no, that's not. They're wrong. They're wrong." But nobody's disagreed with me apart from Jake. So just one of them things, mate. Just one of them things.
That's it, mate. You can't win them all, can you?
Or any. Take care, mate, and thank you for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure, as I've said. So,
You're welcome, mate. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
All the best. Kenneth Wolstenholme said in 1966, there are some people on the pitch, they think he's red all over. It is now.
Bye.